Okay, so today I want to talk about AI voice agents. Now, voice agents are the new paradigm shift in how AI is being consumed by a lot of businesses these days. And today I want to walk you through a bit of a demo and how to build one yourself as well. I use it personally for my own AI agencies as dental voice receptionists, and there are a ton of use cases that we can use. But let me just show you how one sounds like exactly. It might sound a little bit weird because it'll sound exactly like me, and that's intentional. But I promise it's two separate voices, one me talking and one the agent responding as well. Okay, so let's see how it sounds like. It might be a little bit muffled because of the mic. So I'm just going to call the agent and see how it sounds like. Hi, Ali. This is a quick call about your upcoming appointment. How are you doing today? I'm good, thank you. Great to hear. I just wanted to confirm that you have a dentist appointment booked for Monday, November 10th at 9 a.m. Does that time still suit you? Yes, it does. Perfect. I'll note that down. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks so much and have a lovely day. You too. Bye. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now I want to show you how that can be built. We're going to use a tool called ElevenLabs to show you how we can generate your own AI agent voice. In the previous video, I showed you how to clone your own voice, which took a couple of hours to do. So if you want to check out that video, just check one of the links up above or down below, wherever it is. And yeah, let me jump into ElevenLabs to show you how you can generate your own agent. Okay, so this is ElevenLabs, and really this is a platform to generate voices and create any voice agents like the one that you just heard. It's a super new platform, really a ton of voices that you can generate. You can generate your own one and a bunch of features in there as well. Within ElevenLabs, there's kind of two main areas. There's a creative platform where I can generate my own voice, and then there's an agent platform, which is the one we'll go into, where you can build your own voice receptionist or whatever voice clone that you want as well. So if I just click on agent platform, I have my own dashboard to show me how many calls I've made, the average call duration, the cost, how much I've spent, etc. And there's a bunch of features to help you build, evaluate, integrate, and connect to certain numbers as well. But what we're going to start off with is we want to build our first agent. So if I click on agent on the left-hand side, we can see I already have one appointment reminder agent, which is the one you heard earlier, and I've configured it already. But if we want to build our own one, let's click new agent. We have this two options here. We can do personal agent or business agent. Let's say business agent, because assuming most of you here might be business owners or might be interested in just learning how to build it for another business. And we can select, let's say, healthcare and medical, and we can do appointment scheduling like the one I just did. My one before was called appointment reminder agent, so I'm going to call it something similar. Appointment, let's call it appointment agent. And what I did before is I put in my prompt that I had from ChatGPT. It's got gives a role ID of who they are, what tone you want them to be, how you want them to sound, what output information you generally got from somewhere else, your key objectives. So in this case, I've got how you want to greet, how you want to start the greeting, what kind of friendly reminder do you want to give them, specifics on how you want to talk to them. So if you're talking about time, don't mention the word EST or time zones in there or the 24-hour clock. Mention the reason for your checkup, and yeah, and here are some examples linked to each one as well. And then I kind of details if they confirm, if they don't confirm, what do they do. So you can see it's quite extensive. It has quite a few steps all the way until we close the call, and also talks about the guidelines and voices and examples. So it's pretty detailed, and it's a good one to have this much detail so it's reliable when people are answering it. So I'm just going to click create agent in here, and it will do its thing and spin up a new agent that we will have. So we can see my prompt that came up is listed here again when it's been generated. You also have a box to the first message. Here it says recipient, but you can replace it by whatever name you want, or just hi if no one's specific and you want to make it generic. On the right hand side, you can change the language, the LLM model. So some LLM models might be better than others, so you can play around with that. You can change the language to different, whatever, Arabic, Chinese, Croatian, Czech, Danish, whatever country you're from. So it's not just defaulted to English, and obviously the accent and voice will change. And my favorite part here is the voice. So there is a ton of voices in here. If I just go down, default voices, there are professional voices, realistic customer agent voices, depending on what you selected beforehand. But what I'm selecting is my own one. So this is one that I created with my own voice before. It took a couple of hours to do, and that's why it sounded a bit like me previously as well. And once you've done that, you can click save. It's asking me for some variables, so we can give it Bob Dentist at gmail.com. Those are just some examples of variables, so we can click save. And now if I go back to my workflow, you can see I have another agent that I just created right now, which is an appointment agent. Now, this is not really the end of it, right? Because we have this appointment agent, we've given it a bit of a prompt, we've given it a voice, but how do we actually make it do phone calls, right? It needs some sort of number to make it work and doesn't really know what to call or where to call from. So this is like a second step of creating the agent. So if I go back on the left hand side, you would have seen there's an option called phone numbers or outbound. And you want to be able to connect your agent to a phone number. So if I click phone number, what I've got is a phone number that I bought, and I'll delete this afterwards. So people don't use this one and randomly call me. You just called it a test, and then a phone number which I bought on Twilio, and I'll show you how to do that, and giving it a name and the provider as well. And to get your phone number, you want to click import phone number. You have two options from SIP Trunk or Twilio. If it's a one-off, you just want to click from Twilio, and you can put in your country code. So if I'm in the UK, what is that phone number that you created? Give it an easy name. And within Twilio, you also have an account a SID number, which you want to bring in as well. And yeah, so in Twilio, this is how it looks like when you enter in. And on the left-hand side, you have a panel called phone numbers, where you can look at your active numbers, your release numbers, you can buy a number, etc. And in here, you have a ton of numbers based on the country that you're in. So I've got, this is US centric right now, but you can change it to the country that you want to put in. So if I'm going to select United Kingdom, and it should give me a bunch of UK phone numbers that I can buy. So you can literally click any number that you like. This one, for example, it's going to be about a monthly fee of 80p. So not too bad for business or individual. So business, and you need to have a approved bundle. So, they're not going to give phone numbers out to anybody. You have to go through a bit of a process to create a bundle, provide some ID to make sure you're not really a bot. Once you have that, you can assign the approved bundle, and then it'll just be a buy button for you to get in. And you can look at bundles and get it from the actual homepage in itself and manage them together. Okay, so if I go back to ElevenLabs and I go back to my appointment agent, what you're going to end up seeing is right now there is no phone number linked to it as well. So there's no sign of where a phone number will be. You just have an agent ID at the top. It just says public. You can look at workflow, knowledge bases. These are all empty. So if you want to connect it to extra documents or tools or do some security as well behind it as well. In the security section, you can click whether it's just a test, how many calls you want per day as well. So this is 10,000 if you only want to limit to 100 because of cost reasons, and how much the number of concurrent calls that you want happening as well. You can all customize it through some of these features that go across the top. And if you go advanced, you have a bunch of more features about the conversation. After being silent, how many seconds do you want to wait? Because if you wait a really long time, it's like sounds really robotic. And if there's silence, when you want to end the conversation, do they just hang up? And how many seconds of duration do you normally get in between them? So you can play around with all these to make it a bit more customizable. But if I just show you an example that I had before, so this appointment reminder agent, once I've connected up the number on Twilio, it appears at the top here. So this is the phone number that is associated with your account. And once it's connected up, it's really easy to use, and that's when you can make phone calls. It can call your mobile phone. So if you put as an input the number you want it to call, you will receive a call from this particular number itself. Now, This wouldn't be a demo without going into NAN a little bit. So a lot of the times you want to automate this process because you want to make sure it's specific to the person you are dealing the appointment with, because you're never going to manually type in. You might as well just phone the person up directly rather than doing all of this itself. So if I just go to an example flow that I have in NAN. So in this flow, we have a scheduled trigger. So what this flow is basically doing is checking for a calendar of appointments during a given day and seeing who's really booked those appointments. If there's someone there who's got an appointment, it's going to make a phone call 1 hour beforehand just to remind them, hey, you have a call. Are you still available for the appointment? Like you just heard beforehand. And it's very simple. That's what it's going to be able to do. And the great thing about this is anytime there are more appointments coming in into a calendar of some sort, then the agent will just continuously keep on calling them as well. So this is how we take something that is a one-off in ElevenLabs to something that is a bit more automated over here. So our trigger at this point, if I double click on it, it shows you one day, every day at 9 a.m. It'll make all the calls simultaneously to all the people who have an event or appointment, should I say. And in the Google Calendar node, I've got some examples of events and placeholders I put in. So I'll give the timestamp, the date, the day of the week, the year, month, etc. of all of these appointments. And you can essentially select here, do you want it from now until for the next 12 hours? So give it really that time frame, or do you want to get all the appointments from now until the whole week and make sure everyone who's got an appointment receives a phone call every day at 9 a.m., which is probably not really likely. So these two can really change, depending on the time scale you want to call them in and how many events you want to collect as well. The agent here, what this is doing is it's looking at the left-hand side outputs that we get from the appointment. So these are the Google Calendar generated outputs. And we are defining essentially the prompt to be able to make it into a structured format so that it can go into our voice agent that we have. So we've just classified in the prompt user message the appointment details, the appointment start time, the end time. I've just clicked and dragged it from the left-hand side into the appropriate area. And then at the bottom, we have a system message. So this is the prompt. If I just expand this out, this is just the prompt to say that you're a helpful agent and you want the output structured in this particular format using this particular date time function, and make sure you don't really deviate away from this format as well. All right. Now what I've got at the bottom, our AI needs a brain. So we're going to click on OpenAI ChatGPT. Use GPT 4.1 in order to help. I mean, it's not a really complex calculation, so 4.1 will do the trick. And we're also going to select a structured output parser. Now, this doesn't automatically appear when you click AI agent. What you need to be able to do is when you click AI agent, you want to select required specific output format, and you'll get the output parser as an example to select. So if I click output parser over here, what I've got is I've got the exact JSON structure that I want to be able to use in order to make it really consumable for my voice agent as well. So that's how we got to the structured output of the agent. If we didn't, it would just be lines of text that we had. So this is really classifying it into the format that we want. Now the last bit is the actual voice agent that we want to get. Now I could have put a wait node in here. I could have done a few loops, but for simplicity's purpose, I have just got voice agent. So this is a HTTP request. It's a post request. We have a URL, which is from the API documentation in ElevenLabs. We have the authentication name. We have our API key. We have to put this content type and application/JSON as part of the API function, which is what's in the documentation. And then I just copied and pasted the documentation that came from the API as well. But what I've done is I've substituted in phone numbers from the examples that I have. But what we can do is just click and drag the phone numbers from here to, for example, if I was to remove this as the hard-coded version, I could easily just put this version here. And then our agent phone number stays the same because it's being called from one agent. and our agent ID stays the same because it's being called from one agent. So what it's doing is just anytime a new contact comes, it will just keep on changing who it's going to be calling up all the time. And so that's essentially how we create a workflow for the voice agent. And if I just press play, that is my phone ringing in the background. Yeah, very simply, that is exactly how you could build a very simple voice agent by yourself, make it automated, go into ElevenLabs to be able to configure it, bring your own phone number in, and do all the connections that are going to be necessary as well. If you want a more deeper dive into how I got the API functions, a bit more complicated version of voice agents, because it can get complicated when you have multiple scenarios. Let's say people say, no, I don't want to, I want to change my appointment, or they have questions about their appointment, and it can go into different paths and avenues. So it requires a bit more complexity in terms of the flow rate, in terms of the flow diagram. And we can, if you're interested in that, just let me know in the comments below and we can put a video on that as well. All right, hope you enjoyed that demonstration of ElevenLabs and how to build your own voice agents using your own voice. Pretty unique. I think you can clone your own voice and make those phone calls that you want. So if you're a business owner who is looking to build something like this, it's going to save you a ton of time in making sure you don't miss out on a lot of appointments. So a super useful demo. I've got a ton more use cases down below in one of my handbooks. So feel free to check it out. It's completely free and will give you way more ideas on things that you can build yourself on NAN, or if you're a business, give you some ideas on what AI agents you want to build too. So if you really enjoyed this video and you want more of it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the algorithm and helps me grow my small channel for now. And I'll make sure I'll keep posting, and we'll catch you guys next week for my next video.